Welcome in to your 15-minute weather edition. I'm meteorologist John Ziegler. First off, I hope you guys are having a great Monday. A lot happened, obviously, over the weekend. I took Friday off, and then, Friday night to Saturday, we know what happened in Bemidji. First off, I hope everybody's okay in Bemidji. I know a lot of damage. Hopefully you can help out your neighbors. Quiet day today. We'll do the forecast today. It was hard for me to go back in time, but I did find a couple of images from the storm system, and I thought it'd be interesting just to go back and look at this. So it's just an old school picture that I took of it because I can't move it. I have to just do freeze frames. But I think it's cool to talk about what happened. This is a special type event that happened Friday night into Saturday morning. This is kind of a QLCS. It was a derecho out in the Dakotas, and then it became more of a QLCS here in the Minnesota stretch. Nonetheless, let's talk about what a derecho is, and let's talk about the damage that happened in Bemidji over the weekend. Clearly here, you could see a nasty bow line. A squall line is nothing compared to this. These live, breathe, eat, sleep off of a strong, low-level jet. So what happens, you can pump moisture and rotation into this. It's almost like a tornado, but in very large scale form. One's mesoscale, one's synoptic. Two totally different things that look and act similar. So a lot of times you can see, where would I look for damage on this derecho? Well, here's the nastiest part of it. It's up at the top. But this whole thing has to be 250 miles long to be classified as a derecho. This is right at it. Also has to have maximum winds over 75. Obviously, this one had it. And the entire thing must be warned severe. So the apex of it has to have 75 mile per winds, but the entire thing must be severe. So what this will look like in real time is, I could show you here when we go back, and I want to draw in here a little bit. You could see this. Well, imagine this is a box. This is all warned, and then you have a special warned area here, and this is how a QLCS or a potential derecho goes. Now, a QLCS, if you must know, is a quasi-linear convective system. These are, you see the inflow on these things, it punches out. Where it punches out, this is the area that gets tornadoes. More importantly, has 100+ mile per hour wind damage on it. What's worse, an EF2 tornado or EF2 winds that cover a 200-mile radius? That. EF2 tornadoes and derechos are about the same wind speeds. One hits area, like minuscule area, and one hits a massive area. These are what we call blowdown events. We had one in the Boundary Waters. They're very dangerous. In Bemidji, you had one. Now, that's a classic QLCS / derecho. This was earlier on in the evening. Now we're going to zoom in on Bemidji. Is this a derecho? No, I don't think it's right to call this a derecho, at least for Bemidji. Now, it's the same system from that, and it did the same thing. What I look at, when this was going on, is you get this punched area here. So you have this bend. It's always more severe where it goes counterclockwise. So I can show you this area here. What I'm looking for, that bend, where it notches back is where you have the most significant wind. So these might be half of what they are right in Bemidji. The setup was perfect. It showed the signs of, you want to see punching going in, so you actually can kind of see this, right? You see how it kind of bows? And you see the punch in. I could show you this. I'll just draw it in. So this is what I'm looking for when I'm looking for nasty storms. You see that going in, and you see the inflow? Well, that combination here, that created the downdraft of 110 miles per hour, and obviously did incredible damage. So this is, it has to be up and down too. It can't be side to side. So understand that is how this works. And I'll show you one more example, just what I'm looking at for severe weather. Up and down can't be this way, because it needs to interact with the bulk shear. I know this is nerdy stuff, but this is how this works. So this is parallel with the bulk shear. This is perpendicular to the bulk shear. That makes the winds exponentially stronger. That's why when I'm looking for tornadoes or I'm looking for damage, I'm looking for perpendicular, not linear. So you can imagine this is linear. It hits the same area. It's not; these are not going to be as severe as something like that, which was kind of a perfect setup for Bemidji. I hope everybody's all right. Just want to do a little map, go through what I could. I'm pretty far away from the system. If it happened yesterday, I'd have a lot more capabilities. But yeah, not a good storm system. Probably the strongest. I hope it's the strongest one of the year for the state of Minnesota. Likely is. Likely we're not going to top something like that. Now, this is good news. 24-hour dew point change is crashing. Temperatures are just falling off. So what is a dew point compared to a temperature? Well, dew points at 18-degree temperature, you could probably figure out. You're like, oh, okay, we went from 90 to 70. That's nice. Well, you have to, I would 2x the exponential meaning of a dew point. So if it's 18, it's more like 30 or 40, right? It's going from 80 or 90% moisture content to like 20. So you're sucking out the moisture is what that means. Pushing it in from Canada. We love Canada this time of the year. Dew points, take a look at some of these dew points out here. 40s, 30s, bone dry. Now, we're not going to get this to push it all the way through, which is common in the summertime. Des Moines is at 70. That's where we were yesterday. That's nasty. See, Marquette's at 70. But you're starting to see relief is more important. Are we going to get to 30s? I would love it, but no, we're not going to get to 30s. Now, the temperature change today is much cooler than yesterday. Our heat index value will be 25 degrees cooler than it was 24 hours ago. So this is going to be a much better day. In fact, I think the afternoon today is sensational. Got to get out there, got to enjoy it. So let me talk about what I'm looking for the next round of storms here today. You can see the boundary. So the boundary is here, right? You see that boundary? Well, that's where the storms are going to be developing here this afternoon. Now, it's going to be very close to the Twin Cities, very close. But it shouldn't miss the Twin Cities, I should say. As long as we hold a consistent northwest wind, it won't miss us. The pop-ups happen on the boundary. So Rochester maybe as close as Treasure Island, something like that. The TI, Red Wing. That's probably, you could maybe have one in Prescott. I do not have one in the metro. As long as we have a steady northwest wind where the winds are kind of congealing, that's where you're going to see them. So let's go ahead and take a look at these. Here's the afternoon. Let's rewind this closely. First off, congratulations, Bemidji. You have no threat for storms today. The first storm is going to pop here soon. Down in Rochester, you're going to watch one develop. It's probably going to roll up here closer to Red Wing as we go into the 1, 2 o'clock hour. But you'll see it stretch. There you go. That's up to Red Wing. You heard me talk about Prescott. That area looks like they got a chance. And then you go over here. Now the storms are ongoing in Wisconsin. We are not going to have to deal with the weather today. And so let's look at 8 p.m. Have you Brainerd and Bemidji? I mean, we're just talking about fantastic weather today and tonight and tomorrow. So that's great. Storms are going to continue down here. It's the summertime. Find the boundary, call for storms. Sometimes it's not that hard. Models do a horrific job. I always come on here and I always try to preach this because I don't think people understand that certain times of the year models are great. Certain times of the year models are terrible. They're not always terrible. Summertime, they're awful. They're just awful. There's just too many variables. Too many variables is what it is. Now, I know what to look for higher chances, and I do know you circle and say what you know. I know it's not going to rain for 48 hours up here. It's great, but, it will always rain somewhere. It's just summertime. But enjoy a quiet period. Now, there's still a couple of sprinkles around the area. Most of us are pretty dry. Afternoon is looking great. In fact, tonight looks like an absolute gem for your Monday. I'm going a high of 80 degrees, upper 70s for most of the day. Mostly sunny event. Again, this is going to be great. Open up the windows, air out the house a little bit, enjoy some slightly cooler weather. So the high temperatures today are in the 70s. How about Thief River Falls? 69 degrees in Thief River Falls. Moorhead, Bemidji, International Falls, low 70s. I know we talked about it. A lot of cleanup is going to be going on in the Bemidji area. Perfect day on the water in Brainerd. Perfect day on the water in Mille Lacs. Don't look at that symbol. It's just for an early afternoon shower. Again, I think 10, 20%. Like I would say, I always like to draw, you know me. Let's draw it up. So let's draw some boundary areas. So, oh, well, come on now. All right, whatever. All right, so 20% chance, 30% chance, 50% chance. Well, if I do another one, 80% chance. Anything up here in that last quadrant, you're not getting rained the rest of the day. That's it. If you're in this one, congrats. You just have the best Monday. The Twin Cities could get one, but it's about 20%. Would I bet against that? Yeah. 20% in the summertime, that's like zero. See, 20% in the winter is like, ooh, that's kind of a big deal. 20% in the summer is like, you act like zero. Because it's 20% every day. Down here is 60, 70, 80%. That's different. I'm canceling plans lacrosse in the afternoon. You know what I mean? Same with Rochester. I'm preparing for rain down there. Sorry for the drawing. All right, so Wednesday during the day, likely to have rain. So we have that storm system that I showed you goes away on Tuesday, but it does start to push back in for the day Wednesday. Probably exits Thursday. So let's find the dry time. Friday, make plans. Tuesday, make your plans or keep your plans. I would talk about making plans. Make plans Saturday, keep an eye on Sunday. It's that simple. Make plans Monday. So right now I've got Wednesday that's up in the air and Sunday that's a little up in the air, but it's pretty far out. I don't like to, I would think about, I'm not sold yet, we'll talk about this in a second. I would not necessarily just cancel my plans Wednesday, but I would be aware that, hey, we're probably going to get rain, depending on where you live. Now let's talk about where that band is going to set up. Anytime I see this on the Twin Cities, I am not ready to cancel my plans. Why? Because I know it could slide here and we're all good. If I'm in Bemidji, Brainerd, I'm like, whoa, I'm having a phenomenal week. You guys are like nothing all week. Northern Minnesota, just perfection. Like if I could drive up to Grand Rapids and just fish all week, I would do so. Now, if I'm in Rochester or Albert Lee, would I cancel plans Wednesday? 1,000% chance I'm out. Because even if this shifts, you're in the rain. That's when I'm this far out, I'm always looking for like what's going to happen. Well, if this trend's even 30 miles south, Twin Cities goes to 0.1 inches. Well, then we might need to pull the impact alert. I'm going to prepare for the rain because there's obviously going to be a very stiff divide here. You're looking at 0.1 to 2 in a matter of 40 miles. So we got to be prepared for that on Wednesday, southern half. Let's use I-90 up to about Maple Grove South is where we're dealing with this. So we are going to issue an impact alert. Right now we're keeping it blue because it's kind of up in the air a little bit. But we know one thing. It's more for heavy rain, not a life-threatening type impact. So the impact is going to be for rain gear. Obviously, I talked about changing my plans in Albert Lee, Rochester. If you're heading down there, I used to always go to Whitewater State Park down there near Rochester. I'd probably be tough. Used to trout fish down there. So let's see what this looks like here. 8 o'clock in the morning, rain starts to come in. Now, northern Minnesota, not going to be dealing with rain. Mankato, Jackson, Marshall, Rochester, raining at 8. By the time we get to 1, very slow moving. I'm keeping my plans up here. I'm thinking about canceling my plans down here. And then we continue through the day. This is a potential washout, which we've only had one this summer. It will happen a few times. So Wednesday right now, I'd say, yeah, it's probably a borderline washout at this moment. You just got to kind of prepare. You can, I think, see it well with the threats. Tuesday, where's the threat? South. Okay? Wednesday, where's the threat? Right there. Sometimes you can use marginal threats to use more of a bullseye look approach to the rain. They're going to always give you marginal threat for storms. It's summer. It's just, so I use it more for, hey, we might have a thunderstorm or rain. Than I do severe weather. They just issue these because it can storm anywhere. Severe weather can pop up any day, anywhere, anytime when you're unstable. So Wednesday, we find the boundary. All they're doing, find the boundary, south of the boundary where it's warm and humid, issue a marginal risk. Here's your weather impact alert. 77 degrees on Wednesday, so it's going to, of course, cool down with the rain chance. We'll keep an eye on it Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, warming back up. 85 on Friday. Weekend, Saturdays are better, the 2, but don't be canceling your plans yet on Sunday.